Awesome. Let me just work on. I think that's everybody in. Yeah, that's everybody in. Guys, welcome to Meetup 1 of quarter 3. It's already quarter 3 already. It's been a phenomenal year so far. So we normally have community board events that we do on a quarterly basis. We normally start off with our first meetup of the quarter. So we have 3 meetups every quarter, or main big meetups every quarter. This is the first quarter where we're starting off to do a whole sprint of this quarter. So that means that Wayne will walk us through what they have been doing from the Investec side around the tech roadmap and what they have planned for this quarter. And then we'll look at some ideation, some cool things that we can do with all these new features that Wayne and them are producing, which is really cool. I don't want to give the whole game away yet, but there's some cool things that Wayne's going to present to us. And then at the end of the quarter, we tend to do some demos. But again, there's no stopping this. It's just purely a whole roadmap that we kind of follow along. Okay, cool. So before we get started, our principles that we like to get across within the community and how you can apply them within this meetup today is basically just, guys, because as normal, please keep focused on what the guys have. Be more curious, please ask them stuff. This is a discussion. This is your space to be inquisitive, to ask things, to get involved. And then also, if you can keep your cameras on, that'll be really cool, but it's not a stressor, but it's just nice to see some faces and kind of get to know the people a little bit more. And then, of course, if you have some jokes, we'd always be open to jokes. But so Schoeman, no, I've heard your jokes today. I don't want to hear your jokes today. But if you have some jokes, please feel free to share. Would really appreciate that. So very quickly, our agenda for today is very simple. Please watch the demo from Investec. They have some very cool features that they would like to share with the community for this quarter. Then Wayne will talk us through what they've been doing around the roadmap and what they've planned. And then some community updates of what we have planned from the community side of some activities that you guys can get involved in for this quarter. And some feedback. And of course, with the feedback, there's some cool swag that you can win. I'll pick out a person, I think 1 or 2 from the feedback to win some free swag. But there is a third way to win some swag. And the third way is to keep your eye on that little cat, on that whole dinosaur. If you keep an eye on him, he'll pop up on some odd screens. If you can count how many there are by the end of the presentation or the meetup, because I'll send you a special thank you gift around that also. So the multiple ways to win some swag tonight. But again, the main focus is just to help the guys out, to give some feedback, to discuss things, to just have any things that you would like to raise for tonight. That'll be cool. Everyone happy with that? Kind of that one out. Yeah, Wayne's nodding. Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Ben's got the thumbs up. Hey, I'm getting the thumbs up from Ben. So I know it's getting good here. Cool. So Schoeman, I think you've got some cool things that you want to show the guys around some organizational, the whole endpoints that you've been doing around the whole API. Would you like to share your screen around that? Or
I will share my screen, yes.
awesome.
I don't know what joke you heard from me, but
oh, was it not you?
Yeah, no. One thing is, I never thought that my hands would consume more alcohol than my liver. This look.
Yeah, that's on the level of burnouts jokes there.
Yeah, we're taking shots tonight. Okay, Wayne, just make a note there. Thanks.
Nick, you must still read your WhatsApp, eh?
Yeah, I'm on it now. I'm just letting him present quick.
Okay, guys. So let me just go back. So what we've been working on the last couple of months is basically exposing corporate banking endpoints. So what that means is, so currently we have private bank accounts. You can consume our endpoints from external to pull your account information, your accounts, your balances, and your transactions, right? So what we've done is also for corporate and institutional banking, we are also exposing, we started now exposing those endpoints as well. So I'm just going to dive into it. So the team, you know the team. It's Wayne, Ernst, Johan Barnard, Dennis Spies, and me. So it's basically us. It's quite a newish team, as I think Wayne will also explain. Both Johans are fairly new, like a month old, and Henny is about to join us, even though he is the oldest kid on the block, almost just behind Wayne. Okay, so the problem that we tried to solve here was to enable CIB clients to be able to extract their data via an API. So that's accounts, balances, transactions, and then also the basic cards information. The reason for this is obviously to eliminate manual work that's being done currently in companies, where they would obviously have some admin, possibly some old admin ladies sitting there and extracting transactional information and uploading that into their financial systems to do recons, right? So we want to alleviate that, obviously, and we have existing clients waiting for this. So the moment we can prove that it's working properly, we have people standing in line to consume this. Tech stack is, the front door is Apogee. Behind that is .NET Core, and on the lowest level is Microsoft SQL databases. Simple quote, technology simplifies and facilitates our lives. That's basically, I think, one of the goals that we're trying to achieve is to make people's lives easier. And how does it work? Any questions so far? Nothing. Okay.
I'm just keen to see how it's going to work.
You already saw
just
it.
some context in case people are confused.
Great.
We initially launched the programmable banking for individuals, private client business or private clients. This was the next phase where we were going to build it in for corporate. So now businesses and individuals can access the API, similar functionality as well as programmable banking. So if it looks like we're showing you the same thing, this is now on the business accounts, not on the individual accounts. Just for context.
Cool. Thanks, Wayne. So how it works is just a simple process is from our side, we need to onboard the CIB user. It's typically the super user that has access to all the relevant information that they need. That user needs to go onto our online site and generate an API key together with that client ID and secret. They will use that inside their financial system. That system will authenticate and then retrieve the accounts, balances, and transactions. Okay, so let me quickly show you guys. I'm just going to start off with so just the flow for the client to actually generate the key, and then I'll just show you how to actually use that key and to pull the information. So you would log on to Investec Online.
I think you guys need a loading thing here.
I'll chat to Ernst.
Yeah.
From there, you'll navigate to external connections. The tile we're looking at here, the new tile, is the business connections. This is where you manage your API keys and where you can see your credentials.
I think we still got
The screen hasn't
Just
changed.
me or
Yeah.
The screen hasn't changed. For us.
What are you guys seeing still?
I'm
Your
still
login
seeing
screen.
login screen.
Really?
you can unshare and maybe reshare. Yeah, that helps.
I think I'll need to do a new share.
Hmm.
Let me do this.
Sure.
Can you see that?
No.
Can you see that now?
Can you see
Now?
that now? Yes.
There we go.
Yay.
Okay, let me
Now
start
I'm-
over.
The fun of a live demo.
Okay. So you would log in.
There's the loading screen.
Ah, that's one.
Hey, did you see
Hey.
that?
Yeah. An authentication, please.
Just for you, Nick.
Ah, awesome. Good job. Thank you, guys. Can you make it
Aaron's too
different
quick.
and colors? Yeah.
Please sneak it in
Okay,
there.
they would then navigate to external connections. Go to the business connections tile. Over here, they can see their client ID and secret, similar to private bank, and then they would need to generate an API key. Just call it test API key. They then choose the companies this user has access to, that has access to the relevant information. They would give permissions to say, okay, view transactions and accounts. The moment of truth will soon be. Okay, there's your key.
Nice.
And that's it. So from here, I'm just going to quickly show you on my postman. Can you see my postman?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so they will then use this client ID and secret. I'm just setting it. I think I already have that. Let me just get the new API key. I'll show you now where that it'll actually fit in. Okay, so when authenticating using that client ID and secret, in your header, you'll specify the X API key. This is the key that's generated online. In the body, you just need to say, okay, grant type is client credentials, authenticate. This will give you a access token. This access token pass to your subsequent calls. So you have accounts, transactions, and whatnot. So let's see. So there you can see all your account information. You will then take the relevant account ID that you want to see the transactions for example, plunk it in there. So, okay, accounts for this account ID, transactions, same access token. You say, give it to me. There you go, transactional information. Right, and then also we have cards, say, similar to what you would see on online, the masked cards, all that same information you would get back in the cards. Cool. And that is basically it. Let me just go back to my...
I think let me just answer some questions and do some things because people might be confused what they're looking at now. So just a question in the chat, what's the difference between corporate banking and private business banking? I did try and put the answer in there sort of, but so if you're a private client, so an individual that banks with Investec and you start a business on the side, we load you in as a private business banking client. So you're an individual and you've got your business on the side and you're running that business. That thing runs out of a separate system than the raw corporate banking stuff. So you'll see when Johan did the demo there, the endpoints are much more like elaborate. It's like basically got more detailed information because it's set up on a different system, which is focused very heavily on corporate clients. So typically, if you want to have a businesses are just corporate clients, and you're not a private client, you can actually open up one of these accounts and then use these types of things. If you're an individual with a business and the business gets to a turnover around about 30 million, you migrate onto this business account. Does that make any sense? The card calls I'll get to just now. That's the start of the exciting new stuff that's coming soon.
So so it's exactly the same as what you can get at the moment, but just for corporates with a little more detail around that callback. Is that it? Essentially?
Yes, it typically has things like multiple approval steps, like payments are generally not like a once-off payment, like for an individual would be you go to once-off payment, you make a payment, it's done. For businesses, for example, it's typically more allowed a set of payments and somebody goes to authorize it. So it's got a different authorization model. It's got more functionality that's focused around managing a business, where the private client one, if you're a business there, it's almost like an extension of your private bank account. So it's not really focused that much on really being a proper business account. That makes sense.
Lord, yeah.
The thing that Johan just showed you, and maybe I can explain some context around that. When we first launched programmable banking and we, for example, did one card, what happened is Michael had to use his login for his devs to log in and pull the transactions and all of that stuff. It quickly became a problem because the financial people with Michael and them, they said like, well, we don't want to give Michael's credentials out to all the devs. So you basically had to get your transactions with your own credentials as an individual. For businesses, so we evolved that thinking into what we're calling now these API keys, where basically a super user or somebody in the business, which is like a super user, will log in and then generate keys with a certain limited scope of consent. So you saw there where you said only this account or only this thing. You can then generate those keys, give those keys to the devs, and they can only access whatever you want them to. So the finance people won't be upset that they can access some accounts maybe that's got payroll in them, and you can only get to the accounts you want to. So you can generate different API keys for different individuals that want to access the API, like different devs or different people in your organization. It will be interesting to also just have a chat maybe later around if this type of thing would be useful for individuals. We haven't done it yet, but obviously we can look at that.
Cool, thanks. Anyone else have anything else to ask?
What's the lifetime of the tokens?
It's forever,
The
basically.
token,
until
it
you go
doesn't
and
expire.
delete it.
Oh, it doesn't expire. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, yeah, so the challenges we encountered is seeing that we are fairly new to the team, and Willem Visser, that was the main API dev. We didn't know where he left off, and this whole project was kind of in staging, ready to go, and so we needed to take everything to prod, but we didn't know what was already there and not. So that was quite a challenge. We didn't know who to talk to, where the code is, what is this Apogee thing. Still figuring that out, but yeah, it's I think it's a challenge for any new dev in any
That's
team.
just Johan's view, eh? In case you think nobody knows
That's
what's
my
going on. He's talking from his own perspective.
Correct, yeah. Yeah. Just purely your own personal, just let it out, Johan, just let it out.
I think the biggest challenge was the fact that Willem wasn't there when we joined to actually hold our little hands. But we soon get over that. Yeah. Next steps, yeah, we'd like to expose more endpoints, like bulk payment uploading and transfers, whether that's inter-account transfers or maybe later beneficiary payments. But yeah, that's the next steps we're looking at.
So is this available now, or do people need to ask for it, or when will this be available to?
You need to be enrolled. So you need to obviously ask for it, and then we need to go through those steps to enroll you and get everything working. Yeah.
So this is obviously now we're working with a couple of clients just to get it up and running, make sure it works. But we're hoping that any Investec business banking account will basically be then enabled for programmable banking as well. So it's an additional feature of Investec business banking, if that makes sense. So any business card you have, and this is quite exciting because businesses typically have like credit cards that they want to issue to, like, I don't know, the canteen lady to go and shop for just that stuff. So they can now lock it down with code, which makes it quite exciting. And you can issue like team cards and say, this team can only spend X amount of money. So you can like do nice little things with a business account now.
Yeah, cool.
Just, is there a way to force refresh a token? You can log into Investec online and revoke that token yourself. Does that answer the question, Vink?
Yeah, you can delete the key. And that,
Yeah, you just delete the key, which basically renders it inactive.
Any questions, guys? Feel free to use the chat on the side, put on your cameras, chat. We're here the whole night. So, well, Schoeman is, but yeah. Cool.
Just some use cases, Brad, as I mentioned, does that make sense? Was that enough for them? Typically think in a business context where they issue cards, the business wants to manage the spend of those cards in a bit more effective way. I wanted to almost say fleet cards, if that makes sense. You can like almost build your custom fleet cards, although there's some issues around fleet cards, but you could code in rules to say this only works at garages, like just like normal programmable banking card.
Examples for this, yeah, cool. Okay. If there's nothing else, guys, feel free to continue to ask in the chats or just put on your mic. It's not a problem. Yeah, yeah, payments, we're going to discuss that in a second. I'm hoping Wayne has some cool news around that one. So Wayne's going to walk us through he's going to walk us through the whole roadmap, what they've planned. And I think you guys will be pretty excited about. I've had a sneak peek of it because this morning. So I'm very excited about it. Cool. Let me just get to it.
Okay, Nick, you're going to hit next for me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was quite fitting that Richard Branson went into space because he had this quote a while back where he said, the important thing is that you've got a strong foundation before you start saving the world or helping other people. And you know, our mission here is to actually help the dev community. I think the work we've been doing in the last probably 12 to 18 months has been very focused on getting that foundation ready. And I think we're in a place now where we have private clients enabled for APIs and cards. We have corporates enabled for APIs and cards. And now we can start doing the cool stuff like saving the world and helping people. So I thought it was quite fortuitous, the timing around him. I like that picture. He looks like he's pulling about 7 Gs there.
Yeah. That's stratosphere. Yeah, I think he's pretending because didn't he like pretend that he rode on a bike to the launch thing and then he got caught out? It was kind of funny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Go.
Okay, some challenges just for the last quarter. Obviously, Willem Visser left, which was quite sad for us. He had a lot of the IP around Apogee, the C# stuff with him. We didn't really have enough time to do a handover into the new people, but the Johans and them like picked up the ropes quite effectively. So I think we're getting there quite quickly. The nice thing is the team's also growing, which shows that the business is recognizing there's value here. They're backing it with more people, so we have more people to help us build stuff, which is always a good sign. So that we're going from strength to strength. And then in this third lockdown, we hit a lot of people getting sick at Investec, but not necessarily our team. Some of the people downstream that we rely on to do some of the work got sick, so we had to make a plan here, make a plan there to try and get things over the line. But happy to say we actually got it right at the end of the day. Okay, so just want to recap once again, as I said previously, where we started and now with what we're getting towards. So we started by just rolling out the private client card. The community quickly asked us for APIs sitting on top of that card. So we rolled out the private client API. So the first two basically covered individuals banking with Investec, wanting access to their information and wanting to code their cards. A lot of businesses quickly then said, can we also join the party, which then made us focus around the corporate card stuff. So happy to say we are now basically live with the corporate cards and corporate APIs. Corporate API is what Johan just showed you. Okay, so just to recap, this is part of the journey. So the roadmap for Q3, I don't know, you've all probably seen our dev portal. It's quite a shocker, not a shocker. It was a bit of a hack job that was very quickly built when the community wanted APIs and we slapped something together. So that's the SA one. The UK one was a regulated portal for PSD2. So that one we had to go and build there. It's a bit confusing right now. If you go to like developer.investec.com, it actually points you to the UK PSD2 website. So if you're an SA client, you could get really confused very quickly. So we said, let's just clean up that thing. We've basically started with the build of the new dev portal. It integrates some of the community stuff. It focuses on the SA stuff and the UK stuff, the APIs, programmable banking. It'll have all the swaggers, what you typically expect from a proper dev portal. Okay, then I think this is the exciting one. The one ask that I've been pleased in explaining every time in these meetups, virtual cards. I'm happy to say the work has been kicked off to do virtual cards. Just to give you some context around the virtual cards, you will be able to issue a virtual card under your name as an individual. And as a business, that super user or the card administrator can issue more virtual cards under his name. The reason I'm saying that is what you can't do is you can't start a business account and then issue virtual cards on behalf of other people. So like if I wanted to issue Nick with a virtual card out of my company, I can't do that because the legislation says that a card has to be issued under somebody's name and that person has to be FICA'd. So obviously we have some risk from Investec around us issuing cards to people we don't know and how were those people FICA'd. But at least but we're looking at options there. But at least for a start, you can actually go and issue a virtual card in your own name, basically through the APIs. That would be the exciting part. I think point 5, let's just jump to point 5 there. I think that the other thing that we're doing is, we know some people have found the user interface for the programmable cards a bit clunky, but you know, if you have like more than 5 cards, you have to go into card, update stuff. It gets a bit horrible. So what we're doing is we are exposing all the endpoints that you need to manage your cards on the gateway as well. So you'll be able to get your cards. You saw an example of that call from Johan Schoeman. You'd be able to publish your code, update your code, pull the code, get the logs, update your environment variables, all of those things programmatically through the API. So you never actually have to log into the system anymore to update your code, which I think gives much more control to the devs and the businesses running this thing to do their own thing. Okay, so I think that's going to be quite exciting and useful. Now, if you think of the opportunity there between through the API publishing a virtual card and then manually able to programmatically being able to upload code, I think that was my dream from the start of around virtual cards and where we want to get to. So you can spin up cards, inject some code into it, and then use those code for wherever you want to. So that's quite exciting. I'm looking forward to see what everybody can do with that type of functionality. Just then, next is three-legged OAuth. This was initially on the Q4 roadmap. Just to give you, I'll give you a 5-second summary of what three-legged OAuth is. It's a process where an Investec client can authorize the third party to access their data. It then goes through a three-legged OAuth flow. So the third party will get redirected to Investec. You'll type in your username, password. You'll give consent to what you want the third party to do. We'll issue that third party with an API key. And then from then on, the API key will just be used to interact with Investec. The main focus on what you want to do with a three-legged OAuth is if you go and build an app now in the community and you want to give the app once again to Nick, and Nick is an Investec client, you can actually say, Nick, use my app, go to the register screen, hit register, it will redirect you to Investec, do the three-legged OAuth, come back and give you a key. So you can actually build the app for more than yourself, which is exciting because now it's not just locked down to you accessing your own data. You can start thinking about apps accessing any Investec client's data, if that makes sense. And then the last one, I think what everybody's waiting for, it's transfers. So obviously, in my mind, payments are basically there's 3 types, going from least risky to most risky. Transfers being the least risky, beneficiary payments being the second least risky, and then once-off payments being obviously the main risk because the money leaves the bank for beneficiary and once-off it like leaves the bank and you don't even know who it is. So we're starting with the least risk one. It just makes everybody feel a bit more comfortable that we're not going cowboys here. So we'll be enabling transfers between your accounts. So moving money from one account to the next account through these APIs. And I think the combination of virtual cards, three-legged OAuth, transfers, and this programmable banking endpoint gives us a whole new set of possibilities of what we can do. with all of this stuff. So I'm very excited about what things the community will come up with based on that. Any questions? Yeah, while we're at it. Sorry, I'm not watching the chat here. Let me see the chat.
Nothing really. The guys are just very glad that a lot of the stuff that we've been begging for is coming through. So that's very cool.
Just some answers for, I haven't scrolled up a bit, but Vink, yeah, you have to issue a card. Well, you can issue a virtual card, obviously in your name, because you've been figured by the bank. What you do with that virtual card is then up to you, but it's still your card. It wouldn't be, the card wouldn't be in another person's name, if that makes sense. So the card will always belong to the figured person at the bank. So as an individual, you can go and issue virtual cards, but they all belong to you. Okay, what you do with them after that, obviously, if you go and give a virtual card to your uncle and he go uses it somewhere, that's up to you, but it's not, there's no liability in the bank because those cards all belong to Vink himself. The person issuing the card would always be a responsible party. So the client that has the card issued in their name. You can't go start a little business to say, I want to create an account. I'm going to put like $1 million in, and I'm going to create little wallets and issue virtual cards for 50 people on that thing, because the 50 people won't be figured by the bank. So the virtual cards will be all in the name of that person that set up that account. I know it's a weird example, but yeah. Just see if there's more things up there.
Brad has a question. The three-legged
limits. There's no real limit, Ben, on any cards that were issued. Sorry, I'm going upwards. This might be a bit weird. We probably will throttle it to some extent so that you don't go and generate 1,000 virtual cards. So we haven't really thought about that yet. It will probably come over time that you might get the limit of, I don't know. I'm just guessing. So let's see what happens when we get there. I'm assuming that's a limit on the number of virtual cards you can issue, not the limit on the amount of what the thing is. Obviously, the virtual card, you can issue it and go put in some code to say only spend 1,000 Rand, otherwise decline. And then Brad, with the three-legged OAuth on apps using our API key. So three-legged OAuth will, the client that is authorizing your app to go and use it will issue you with a key. So the key will belong to the client, which you'll then get hold of, and then you can go pull transactions on behalf of that client. I'm not sure if I'm answering the question correctly. Yes, that's the whole point of this for me, is that we generate virtual cards using the API. I think that the programmatic possibilities there are really amazing. So it would be horrible to actually go and log into the system, generate a virtual card, and then go in and then do the code outside. So I'm hoping, and I'm 99% sure that we will get it to be, when you can create a virtual card, there'll be an API endpoint that lets you generate a virtual card. The way you can, obviously, the way you, you get to the PAN, the CVV, all of that stuff, which just needs to be considered, because we typically wouldn't just throw that stuff out there into the world. So there might be a bit more rigmarole around getting your PAN and your expiry date and your CVV.
Vic, would you like to get on
sorry,
audio?
The client will be able to see the API key they issued in those same screens that that Johan and them showed you. So you'll be able to revoke that key or not. I haven't thought about, can you see a log of all the transactions that went through there? I haven't thought that far yet, but it's actually a good idea to go and say, to give you some visibility into the API requests that were made with your API key. It's a really good idea.
If you're looking for inspiration around that, Stripe has an excellent demonstration of both seeing incoming requests and the responses that were provided for a given API key or a webhook endpoint.
We'll definitely have a look at that. Can they be deleted? I'm assuming you can delete them just like you create them. Okay, did I answer everything, Nick? I'm not sure. I'm like jumping all over the place here.
I think so. I think Aurelian just had the top question about the virtual cards, if we can make it through the API, but I think that's a...
Yes, no, well, that's what I said. You can create virtual cards using the API. That was the point of it.
Well, it's specifically so you should be able to of the card after creation. So in an automated fashion, they can be created as well as deleted.
Can you make and delete it?
Yes, you can make and delete it. Obviously, getting access to the PAN and the CVV is a different issue, just to maybe clear there. So you could be able to create the card, but you're not going to have an API endpoint that typically says, here's your PAN, here's your expiry date, here's your CVV, because that's quite risky. So we just need to look at how you actually get access to those credentials or that PAN and things in a safe and a secure way. I think there might be some friction around how we do that, but I'm hoping to make it as simple as possible. In my mind, I want it to be, you call an API, you get a virtual card created, you get a code back, you pump some code into it, and then you keep on going. Like, that would be my dream. And then once you're done with it, you can delete it, obviously. So you can almost create like once-off virtual cards for transactions to some extent, which is really quite secure. Okay, if there's no more questions, yeah, we can maybe go to the next slide.
Yes, Q4.
Q4. So this one, as always, I didn't put too much thought into this. I think the exciting part about being part of this community is that we have enough people that give us cool ideas about what they want next. So I don't have to go make up something. So what we still had on the backlog initially was the single code repo. So you know the thing where every card has a piece of code behind it. It's a bit of a clunky thing when you have 400 cards and you want to update the code. We're hoping that if you can access the endpoints to update the code, that will alleviate some of the issues. So we sort of delayed that single code repo to Q4, just for priority issues. Webhooks, I think enough people have come up with workarounds around webhooks for us to not look at it right now. It's still something I want to look at in the future to say, can we expose events, not just on cars, but on other events that are happening in the bank through some mechanism. And then just extra endpoints. We look at what was asked for historically and just some brainstorming. We thought things like VAS electricity, like you can get that electricity, buying airtime, buying data, access to your rewards, or maybe doing something with rewards, or send cash, which is basically generating that token that you can go to Pick and Pay, give the token, and then get cash out. What I like about that one is, although it's not it sort of acts like a once-off payment, although it's a bit manual, you can still do it. So you can, through the API, hopefully generate the instruction to generate one of those tokens that you can then send to someone and they can go to Pick and Pay, which gives you sort of a payment functionality to an extent. The problem with that is the limit is just 3,000 Rand. So you can't generate a token more than 3,000 Rand. Permissions and scopes, that's the whole point of the API keys. So what we've done for private client, obviously you have access to everything you have access to as an individual. So for the business, it makes more sense. They're going to add more scopes and permissions into those keys so that you can reduce the grants that you want on those things. So it'll be interesting for me to understand, is there a need for individuals like yourselves to actually be able to start managing different scopes around API keys for yourself? My assumption is, since you're pulling your own data, you want access to everything you're doing, and you won't be issuing API keys to other people on your account. But if there is a need, I'm very open for that discussion.
I think when we start going to the three-legged OAuth, the scopes in terms of payments, transactions, account details, etc., now becomes very relevant, because it's not in, the keys are not in your control.
That's exactly the use case I was thinking of as well. Like, just being able to distinguish between a read-only key versus a key that can issue transactions and so on already would be massively helpful.
That's the thinking from a three-legged OAuth perspective, yes.
100%. So obviously the client, when he goes and creates grants for the third party, will have to say, I only want to read only key. I want them to make payments, but only from this account. We want to make it as granular as possible without making it like laborious, that you can like reduce it to just get read only keys, or just get payment keys or transfer keys from certain accounts, just to give a bit more control into the person giving that access to the third party. Okay, and then more payments. I know payments are always like the coolest thing to do, yeah? So next we'll start looking at the second most least risky thing, which is a beneficiary payment. I'm hoping maybe we can pull a magic move and move that a bit earlier, but let's not jump the gun yet. So beneficiary payments would be next. So here you could basically just do a payment to any predefined or preloaded beneficiary on Investec Online. So you go to Investec Online, load a beneficiary, and then the API will allow you to do payments to those people. the risk control there is obviously you have to log into Investec Online to add the beneficiary. So you can't really go steal your money that easily, because you first have to generate or log in, go through second factor, go to the add beneficiary screen, load it in, and then you can start paying money to it. So, but that's work in progress. Any questions on this one? Otherwise,
I've just got a quick poll for the guys, because of your whole endpoints that you guys are looking at, from the electricity to the airtime to the data, I thought it would be just a cool idea to just ask the guys very quickly, a quick poll to say, but what do you want first? Do you want to have, data? Do you want to be able to send cash first, so that the guys can at least figure that one out? If you guys want, so I'm already getting in some results. So sending cash is very big at the moment. So sending cash, electricity is a little bit, and a lot of data. So about 7 people so far want to be able to send cash, and 2 people want for data, and 2 people want for electricity, and 1 for some airtime. So clearly sending money is very important. So the guys are looking for that one. Thank you very much.
I think it opens up a lot of interesting opportunities to explore if you can send even small amounts of cash like that.
Yeah. So clearly a lot of guys want to be able to send money. So that's the results. Cool. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Is anything else?
I'm not sure what else there is. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to quickly, since the team has gone through a lot of changes, I don't know how many DIRs here knew the team with Willem and Ernest and me. We obviously had the 2 Johans, Johan Barnard and Johan Schoeman, join us. So that was quite useful. And then Henny Spies is about to join us in, what's it now, Henny? T-2 days.
Yay.
So
I'm counting the sleeps.
very excited about that. Henny used to be the main architect for digital at Investec. So he's decided to stop being an architect and do some real work. I'm kidding. And join our team. And I think he's got such a profound amount of knowledge around the systems at Investec. I'm looking forward to see what he can add to the party.
Definitely.
Okay, so this
No
team
pressure.
is growing, and I think that's a positive sign. As I said, we started with 3 people. We're now on 5. We're soon going to be 7. I still have 2 extra vacancies. Any C# devs looking for work, they can apply. It's a real thing. So just in case you want to know. Okay.
Cool.
And I think that's it from my side.
Anything else you guys want to ask or have questions about before we move on to community? But please feel free to use the chat also to ask some questions. Cool. Awesome. Very quickly, so moving on to the community side, so some of the very cool things that you can expect within the community. So we are scaling up our side, our team also. We are also looking for our service experience designers to help us build out a very cool experience. So as Investec grows, we grow. Way also to keep up with them, because they are, we want to follow them. So we're putting out a community. So there's some very cool things that we've been doing out. So a lot of our focus around this quarter is around, you guys spoke about at the whole hackathons and through the feedback that you've been providing us for the last quarter, around you guys are looking to connect up a lot more. You guys are looking for those one-on-one connections a little bit more. So we're going to test out a few things for this quarter. So while we still have our big meetups and our big main events, we're also going to be providing you guys with some spaces and some cool activities to just meet other people, to meet other devs, rather than just having a demo or a meetup or hearing our voices just drone on and on. I hate the sound of my own voice. So I would prefer that, because we can provide that space for you guys to meet each other, to come up with some cool ideas, and to just meet other devs in the community. So we're starting off with our gather round, sort of these events that we're looking at doing every week. There's no pressure, there's no demos, nothing of that. You'll simply join up. You'll be on a roulette sort of dating thing, speed dating sort of thing with other devs, where you'll get to meet other devs in the community. And you'll have 7 minutes to just chat about stuff. We'll have some prompts, if you some question, stuff about your career, about what what you're working on, and to spark off that connection, because we want you to make some friends in the community. So here's a space to make friends in the community. So we're going to test this out. We've been trying it out with smaller and bigger groups. So now we're launching it more formally. And then, but again, this is a test. So we would love your feedback on it. If this is a good idea, a bad idea, times off, when is a better time, and any better ideas. So hope that helps. So take a look at that. I'll drop this link into the chat also, but you guys can take a look at it. I'll also drop it into our communications and our Slack groups. So I'm just trying to get it quickly in my little thing here. Cool. So you can take a look there. You can register there if you want to find out more. And it's literally, it's a no pressure sort of environment to just meet other devs. If you have the time, cool. Then next is our community camps. So we've got a lot of thoughts into how can we help you guys, because this is also around a community of practice. We want to become better devs. We want to build really cool things. And there's some really smart people within our community. There's a lot of guys doing a lot of work around blockchain, a lot of guys doing a lot of the whole crypto, do data analysis. So we'd love to get all of these guys together and do like a week-long sort of camp. So we'd love your feedback on what exactly is it that you guys would like to learn more about. Would you like to learn more about how virtual cards are built within a bank? Because we have a lot of data, because Wayne and them have spent a lot of time boarding up a lot of content around what are virtual cards, how they actually work. And so if you guys want to learn more about that, we can put some sessions around there. If you want to learn how to board up your own blockchain or board out NFTs and how that works within a social token environment, that's cool also. So please let us know what it is that you would like to learn more about, and we're happy to start to put that into play for you guys. So I'll launch a quick poll if you guys want to just let us know what you want, or if there's something else specifically that you guys want to learn about within this quarter. Just think of this as a semester of learning. If there's anything else that you'd like to learn more about, please feel free to put into the chat and Slack, or send a pigeon to me. It's not a problem. We would really love to help you guys build out your skill set, build out developments, and we have a lot of the resources that we can pull on to help you guys with it. So we want you to feel as if this is a community that you can come, you can learn about the stuff that's really is cool for you, and where we'll help you support that around it. So that's what we're looking at. Cool. I think there's already some guys who are putting in some polls. I'll let that run for a bit. And there's also some other stuff I'm working on. I think you guys are going to be really excited when we launch it, but at the moment we're just putting out some flames around it, but it's either going to work brilliantly or typically it's going to come up in flames. But the main part is that this quarter, I really want to focus on what you guys want. So please let me know what you want. We'll build it, we put it together, and we'll help you support it. So there's some cool things that are doing in the community. So please let us know, around that. Vic, that pigeon, it's like filtered into window, but I keep my windows open, so it's all good. I'm a Linux guy, so that's essentially what we're working on for this quarter specifically. We will have some cool board events, some board challenges that you can be more open towards, because we know that time is important to a lot of you guys. So we are looking at making these board events more flexible for you to contribute in a way that you want. So we're trying to tie it back to the trophies, the hackathon stuff that we've done in the community, and to tie it back to some more challenges. But I don't want to give the whole game away just yet, but just watch out for some cool things that are going to happen next. So that's what's in our list for this quarter. If there's anything you guys want specifically, again, please always feel free to reach out to me, put it into the Slack groups, or WhatsApps, whatever. We're more than happy to help out and board out. So that's what we are looking at the moment. So while Wayne spoke about some really cool things that they're doing, virtual cards, the payments, I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the corporate cards. I already started to play around with those. We're going to start to do some ideation, some learning sessions, and then see what else we can build, to see how cool things we can do together. That's essentially what our plan is. So I'm open. I've cleared off my desk for you guys. Whatever you want or need, I'm here to support and build it with you guys. Cool. Let me just put the feedback. We would love, again, if you so yeah, that's a big question, Vic. What about people who don't have access? So that's the secret sort of thing that we're busy working on. Ben started this project of putting together a community and an account for you guys, and to make it more open to everyone to kind of play around with it. So we have started to finish that up. So that's just become more open now. So I'm going to play around with that to see how non-Investec guys can start to play around with the API. So I will give some more details around it, but as soon as I have some more details for you guys, I'll let you know. But I am working on a solution around for guys who don't have direct access to Investec private banking, those APIs, and then finding ways for the community to get more involved. Yeah, I know that's exactly what it is. We want to get more people involved. We want them to get excited about the very cool things that Wayne and Ernst and everyone and the Johans and Henny and everyone at the team are doing. And we want them to really see the cool work that these guys are doing. So the more people that we can get involved and get working on the stuff that they're working on, the better. So I'm working on that. So that's one of the sort of stuff I'll start to drop later on in the week, but I don't want to, just bombard you guys with everything at the moment. So that's what we're working on. If you guys spotted, I'll put the feedback form into the chat now for you guys. We'd really love some feedback about what you thought about the roadmap, any other details that you might have, anything that you guys would like to learn for this quarter, and because again, I'm focused on building stuff with you guys for this quarter. So please let me know how I can help you, how I can build with you. That'll be cool. If you spotted how many cats were on their little pets, you can feel free to put it into the chat and you might win a cool prize there, or kind of let me know in Slack. I'll let you know how many were actually on the whole presentations, but I'll also pick out yeah, Vincent's already on the ball, but yo. Okay, that's number one there. So we're taking a look there. And then also I'll pick up some guys from the feedback form to win some swag also. I nearly said swag. But that's essentially what we will be looking at. So clearly, a lot of guys are looking to learn more about blockchain and how to build it and what it actually means, and rather than just the 101 thing. I don't want to get into those, the basics of stuff. You guys are developers, you know what you're doing. So I want to help you build some really cool stuff. So let me work on that for you guys. Okay, cool. Any questions so far, or anything that we missed, or any questions for Wayne, for the team? For Henny, who's starting, any words of advice? Or
wasn't Henny supposed to tell us a joke, Nick?
Yeah,
I got banned from telling jokes after the joke I told earlier today.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, it was you. I knew it.
Well, I have one for you guys.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I really wish Medusa would stop objectifying people.
That's such a nerd joke, that one. It's just insane.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to use it.
My sense of humor is legendary at the office for putting people to sleep as often as it makes them laugh.
Cool. Anything else, guys? Are we missing anything? Any questions for you guys? I'm sure you're eager to get started and to play around with this stuff. Wayne mentioned of how we can actually get started with the corporate cards. He will let us know as soon as virtual cards and payments is up and running. Let's give it over to Wayne. Anything else that you'd like to add?
Oh, I'm not muted. No, I think I think the community has been quite patient around us just having those limited endpoints, because we were doing a lot of the foundation work, as I mentioned. I think this quarter it's starting to really become exciting because we've done all the like dog work, and now we can actually do some of the cool stuff. So I'm really excited to see what comes out this quarter with all the creative people we have here. And once again, thanks to the community. Without them, like, we wouldn't have any of this. So thank you all. I know it's hard to attend this time of night and have a day job and everything, but I really appreciate it.
And I think this really talks a lot to, because you guys are open to listen to the community. You guys are open to new ideas and new things. And that's, I think, what the community really loves, that Investec is really just invested in just building something with the people. So thank you very much. And I know all the graft work that you guys have been doing around everything. So thank you. Cool.
So I just wanted to sorry, from my side, just express my excitement in terms of really getting to the community. It's probably the biggest draw point for me to Wayne's space, not Wayne's world, Wayne's space, in terms of moving across. So it is about the community. It is about what we can do as developers to solve real problems. And I'm just so excited to be part of this journey in terms of this mission. So thanks for having me.
Cool. Anyone else? Any last questions? Anything? All good. Cool. Hugs. Yeah, your answer's right there, mate. You spotted how many cats there were. Vincent also got it right. Still waiting for more. There's some guys who I have no idea where they got these numbers from. They got to be developers. So, cool. Guys,
off by one problems are a real thing, man. Off by one problems are a real thing.
Yeah, I see that.
Just how many ones you're off by sometimes changes.
Yeah.
There are only two hard problems in programming: cache invalidation, naming things, and off by one errors.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm checking that now. It's a problem. Yeah, I need to maybe have a psychological one.
I gotta go, guys, but it's really exciting and awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
Cool.
Very cool.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for the
guys.
update, guys.
No problem.
Lots of
Thank
cool
you.
stuff.
Cheers.
Guys, have a good night. Cheers, guys.
Everyone.